Hello, I'm Denise, the content analyst for Engerati, and we're coming live to you from the African Utility Week studio. And with us today, we have Caroline Faasen. She's the engineer, senior engineer at DNV GL. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Sure.
How is the event going so far, it being day one?
Yes, it's day one, but I think so far it's been very interesting.
Fantastic.
We've seen quite a lot of clients and potential new people to cooperate with. So yeah, it's always quite a big mix of people walking around here. So yeah, so far so good.
Super. Well, we were going to talk about the importance of smarter renewables operation management. What is the importance of this and what drives it?
So I think nowadays we have more and more projects coming in the operational phase. So in fact, there are more projects operational now than have been ever before. And so we see a bit of a shift from building new capacity in renewable energy projects, both wind and solar, to more and more projects that are now operational, and that also makes a shift towards an increased focus on the performance of these operational projects. And yeah, there's a lot to win actually in that phase. And so whereas previously there was a big focus on getting more and more electricity and more installed capacity from renewable energy sources, we now do see that also by improving your performance and by improving your operations, you can actually gain a lot and increase your electricity generation, and reduce your cost and boost your revenue. And also I think for the operational period for these renewable energy projects is quite long. So it can be 50 years or 20 years or even up to 25 years. So whatever you can gain in that period, you can gain for quite a long period of time, and that makes it very interesting also from a financial perspective to make sure that everything is in place.
Right, okay. And why should this particular service be outsourced?
I think due to the long term of this operational phase, you do need professional management of your operational assets. And not all project companies or not all projects do have the resources to do that in-house, or it might not be viable to have all the, you need particular skills to operate this in the most optimal way. So they might not have those type of services in-house, might not be viable to attract those people. And that's why also our company, DNV GL, tries to offer an alternative as in outsourced assets management.
Right.
So we are operating, or we are monitoring now more than 50 gigawatts of operational assets.
Okay.
And have a lot of experience in monitoring and analyzing data and doing inspections. So if you do that on a daily basis, then it's easier to know what risks are involved and how you can address certain issues. A lot of people have your availability warranties for these projects, but it doesn't stop there. So you have your availability warranty is maybe like 3% of your total project, and 97% is your efficiency. And so the 97% efficiency, that is an area that is kind of untapped resource, I would say. You can improve that a lot, and that is where we are trying to offer a complete range of services, from inspections to performance measurements, SCADA data analysis, these kind of things to increase your efficiency and to make sure that projects get the most out of their assets.
Right. In Africa in particular, I know it's a huge continent, but perhaps you have found certain challenges or certain instances where utilities just don't get around to proper asset management, renewables asset management, other than perhaps maybe the obvious such as finance, for instance? What else is stopping them from attaining this?
Yeah, it's funny you say Africa actually, because I think it's a global way of thinking that once you have your project operational, you know, it goes as it goes. So we have, there's a bit of a threat for inertia where we just keep doing things the way we are used to do them. Whereas, in fact, if we would really scrutinize the data, you can actually bring that data, you know, gain insight and then bring that insight into action to increase your performance and produce more electricity, reduce your cost, etc. So I do see we are now shifting to, because reducing cost is obviously a worldwide theme, which is very important.
Right.
So I do see that there's more attention for operations. And yeah, it also has a lot to do with understanding that the improvement of your operations could be a massive improvement of your financial results.
Yeah.
So maybe just to give you an example, we are doing a lot of power performance measurements.
Right.
So for example, wind turbines get a power curve warranty, and we are doing these power curve measurements for over 20 years now. And what we see is that often there's an underperformance of about 2%. And that's quite a lot if you calculate that on an annual basis. We're talking about $600,000 per year, or like 9 million rand every year.
Right.
And that's only if you are really looking into the data, because your data will still be available, but and your turbines will be available, so you don't see that in any availability warranty. But if you look into the data and if you do your measurements, then that can be very beneficial for all projects.
It's really all about harnessing that data in an appropriate manner, isn't it? It's otherwise it's worth nothing.
It's scrutinizing the data indeed, and then bring that to like information or intelligence.
Yeah, exactly.
And then if you can address those issues, then you can bring that into action and hopefully with that improve the performance of your assets.
Yeah. So when you go into utilities and you're trying to offer them this this service, this management service, what do you find is your biggest challenge? Because surely the figures should speak volumes. You know, efficiency, operational efficiency should speak volumes, and does it?
Well, it's not always that clear what you can gain from it right from the beginning.
Right.
So we see that doing a lot of projects, we see that it often happens where it helps to have an independent view on the data, for example. So with these power performance tests, for example, but also if you look at the availability data, we often have cases where the contractors give if the availability numbers are not met, they provide you with a indication of what the liquidated damages would be. If you scrutinize the SCADA data, what we do for clients, and we kind of allocate some downtime which was allocated incorrectly, and sometimes we can get like 10 times as much liquidated damages as from the start.
Right. So the advantages are clearly there.
They could be there.
I mean, this is clearly, as far as you know, it can change quite a lot of things. You know, operational efficiencies, you know, even financial viability. It definitely changes. It shifts the renewables development quite a bit, doesn't it?
It does, and also on the viability side and the bankability side of projects. It works very well if you're doing like proper inspections or due diligence of your existing assets as well. That can actually highlight any financial risk or technical risk and address these issues before you're actually going to invest in such projects.
Really saving a lot of time and a lot of money in the long run.
Yeah, it's really worth doing that in advance because if you've invested in it already, then you might be too late. And like I said, on an annual basis, these numbers can add up quite a bit.
Yes.
So I think it's important that you have all bits and pieces for the operational phase, and that you have like an integrated approach where you can do a lot of things to increase your performance to get safe and effective asset management.
Right. And then you've already laid out many opportunities with regards to asset management as far as renewables go, but your parting words to utilities or to the energy sector, specifically in Africa, what would they be?
I think it would be very good to realize the ginormous benefit that Africa can have. With the latest projects, or sorry, the first projects actually that were in operation are getting now towards the end of their warranty term, and so it could be very beneficial to do end of warranty inspections, see if there are any difficulties or any items that might not have been performing as would have expected or not according to the contracts. So these can be replaced or warranties can be extended, and to take a look at the full scope of smarter operations to boost revenues.
Great. Thanks, Caroline, for that sound advice.
Great.
Thank you very much for the interview. I hope you enjoy the rest of the event.
Thank you very much. You too.
Thank you. And thank you for watching us. I am Denise from Ingerati, coming to you live from African Utility Week Studio.